Hello everybody, and welcome back yet again to HSBG Rules. Right, I received a question from Mr. Ed Ball. He's currently the reigning champion at the British League here and he's an amazing guy, amazing player. His question was based on my mobilization transfix question that Sam Jeffries had put to me. Alright, well, the question he put was, could you please look into the same question but in the relation to the use of faith? I'd expect the answer to be similar, given that might, will and fate are all heroic characteristics, but I'd appreciate your insights. If different, could you highlight the respective differentiating paragraphs also? That would be cool. Well, how did I start on this? I had a chat with a couple of my friends, people who play other systems, 40k and Fantasy Battle. And we sat down, we had a bit of a discussion about how Games Workshop approaches magic and spellcasting in their two main systems. The Lord of the Rings / Hobbit being the third main system presently. In 40k and in fantasy, I suppose the general consensus was that magic and spellcasting is game changing. In fact, in some cases, game stopping. What comes to mind would be Fantasy Battle, the Dreaded 13th. There's the Purple Sun. Just to name two out of some of the key spells that can literally just end the game. There are circumstances where that needs to occur for it to do so, but usually those can be such devastating spells that the game ends. And then Games Workshop got involved with Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and I started to look at spells and magic in this system, and it's very subtle. Everything in the game is very subtle. There's no one spell that seems to be able to destroy everyone's troops en masse, or just stop the game as such. But then I started looking at Lord of the Rings in general and the ring itself. If you look at the books, you look at the films, a single ring contains all the magic that keeps Sauron and evil in Middle Earth. Get rid of that, poof, end of the evil as such. So then we started looking at other spells. We started looking at Sorcerer's Blast, quite powerful. We started looking at Nature's Wrath, again quite powerful. Can be game changing, but very subtle. So then we get back to Transfix and Immobilisation. I think that along with the likes of Sap Will and Chill Soul, Transfix in its spread out over the various characters that can use it, from Immobilisation being Saruman and Gandalf at least. Then you're looking at Transfix from the Wraiths. You're looking at Transfix from most of the Shamans. You're looking at Transfix from Sauron, etc. Just to mention some of the key ones there. And then you start looking at how easy it is for some of them to cast Transfix. Some doing it on a 5+, some doing it down to 3 or 2, etc. And being I believe one of the most subtlest but powerful spells there is, if you start going to the writings, again I'm going to hark back to the rules itself, and in relation to Ed's question, faith, we come across the sentence, just second paragraph underneath faith on page, let me just scroll up here, page 61 of the Hobbit rulebook. It says, whenever a model with fate points is wounded, the controlling player may choose to expend a fate point to attempt to prevent the wound. Again, leaving a lot of choice there. seeing possibly maybe some form of an action. And 2 paragraphs down, if the fate roll is unsuccessful, the hero has more fate points remaining. Another fate roll may be attempted if you wish. Again, so there's a lot of choices, maze, voluntary action sort of thing there by the player. And then finally, if we move on to the FAQ, which in this sense, again, I mentioned under Transfix in my previous video, which is Games Workshop approved. They say, no, for all intents and purposes, the victim is entirely unaware of the battle swirling around them. They can only roll to win a duel and back away if they lose. Otherwise, they can do nothing. Based on what's written, I would say, along with Will, that a figure can't use faith. Now, I went to an event up in JT's in Awkward there in Huddersfield. Fantastic event, had a great time, met some really nice new people, and played some old friends as well. And you know, it actually was a fantastic event. I won 2, I lost 2, and I got to say, other than the great games I had in the first 2, the losses I actually quite enjoyed. I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected to, which was cool, because it's good to lose. You learn that way. Hence why I do this channel, so I learn myself. I spoke to 1 or 2 people there about the idea of faith, and you could get by their expressions and how they came across was that they believe that no, you should be able to do faith against Transfix or Immobilised because it was a special kind of God-given right to heroes. And I didn't disagree with him. I potentially think that perhaps faith isn't affected or shouldn't be affected. But the words and the ruling presently say yes. And this is a change from, as I said in my last video, this is a change from the Transfix and Immobilised rules from the Lord of the Rings rulebook itself. And then moved into the Hobbit, and then we moved into the FAQ, and then eventually into the community FAQ, and Games Workshop approved, as I said, that no, they can't. So it seems that presently faith and will are not usable against Transfix or Immobilisation. Whether that changes in the future, whether that's something that needs to be put forward by the community and say, ooh, we don't necessarily agree with this. All I'd say in final defense to my research is it goes along the lines of the way Games Workshop approaches spells and casting and magic within their other systems. I can't see why they would suddenly dramatically change it just for the Hobbit, but they have in the sense of there's no finishing, devastating single spell that destroys the whole game. There's just very subtle things that can affect individuals or a few characters that can be game changing, but as I said, very, very subtle. Okay, well listen, thank you very much for this, for listening. I hope, Ed, that answers your questions, and I look forward to any further questions. I've got another video coming up soon, and yeah, I hope it'll be a pleasant surprise for everyone. Okay, well, signing out from here. I suppose I need to find some form of a call out sign. How about fair dice rolls for everyone? Alright, cheers. Bye for now.